Hello, Richard. Hello, Renee. Nice seeing you again, Richard. Oh, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry, it's wonderful to see you again.
We are expecting about 40 to 50 people, so we're just going to give them time to go in. We are going to be very respectful for people's times, though, meaning we will start probably at the 4:03, 4:04 mark, so we can really wrap up by 4:45, 5 to give you guys room for questions and answers. No.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Oh, look how pretty you look. You look so nice.
You must be talking to Bina because she's the queen of jumpers.
I love that jumper. Are you laughing at me?
This is a shirt with sweatpants on.
It looks like no pants on.
Remember
that. Stephanie, you look very nice, very
Thank you.
professional. I like that. Look at all you pretty girls.
I just went to Nordy's yesterday for my big
Ooh.
event next week, so I picked up a couple.
So good on you. I'm not dressed up now. I'm just in my sweats. That's okay. You didn't need to be dressed up. You still like freaking nailed the thing. Didn't matter what you wore.
Hi, Joel. Nice seeing you again. Hello. I met Joel at the conference in North Carolina.
Hi.
She was a bundle of joy, bundle of energy. She had an amazing talk that lit up the entire room.
Hey, so good to be here with you guys. This is so exciting.
Yeah. Not home, obviously. I don't have mooses and bears or wolves in my house. So we are at least have internet, and I at least made it in time. Hello, Andrea. All right, just gonna give it a couple more minutes. I'm really good about keeping people on their time so we can dive right into what we want to create. Hi, Teresa. What we want to do, so that way everyone's information and stuff is there. I'll probably just wait like one more minute because I like to be on time and I like to end people on time. I'm listening and biking at the same and biking. Oh, you and Damien should chit chat because he bikes all the time too and does two things at once. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming to this Canva training. This actually came into light when me and Stephanie Patterson, who is going to be joining me on this co-training, is really the understanding of why one-page flyers are really important. And just in a general curiosity for all of you guys that are on here, I know there's a lot of people I've worked with in the past or currently working in my container. How many of you know how big or how much of an impact a one-page flyer can be? Any guesses, Susan?
Oh, I thought I was just raising my hand. I don't know what you mean. It can impact a lot of people can see it in so many ways. I'm not sure exactly how to answer.
We're going to be talking about that here. The goal of this presentation today is to teach you guys, one, the importance of having a one-page flyer, two, how to create a one-page flyer in a very short amount of time. So by the end of this presentation, we're not going to be able to go through all the nitty-gritty details, but it at least gives you some key pointers on how to get more visibility out into the community. So I'm just going to share my screen. All right. So this is the Canva training, and what we're really going to be focusing on is how Canva training for one-page flyers is really going to incorporate for corporate deals. Now, when I say the word corporate, all that means is the word business. I have to remind you guys that even when we're trying to go out for hospital organizations, nonprofits, those are still businesses. And those are still considered into the corporate world. So I think sometimes a lot of nurse coaches and a lot of people may or may not have this, I don't want to do corporate. And then I get a lot of emails or messages saying, hey, can you help me get into a nursing organization? And I'm like, that's what I do. Like, that's exactly what I help you guys do. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Bina Bendale. I am one of the first nurse coaches to break into corporate world where I become an added benefit to large organizations. So what does that mean? I become a support system where employees are able to come to me for wellness, their silent struggles, and they're able to come to me with problems that they're having in their home to have a better work-life balance. So 3 years ago, my journey started. It was a post on Facebook where a company was looking for somebody that really wanted into the wellness space, a therapist, and really wanted to have somebody help them in a wellness area. So initially, I want to tell you guys very honestly, the first time I got my large organization, I didn't have a one-page flyer. I didn't even know what a one-page flyer was. I didn't know what a business was. I didn't know what an ROI was. I didn't even know what a KPI. All this stuff really does develop over time and over things. But what I have learned over now when I got my second, third, fourth organization is that the one-page flyers are a quick glance of how you're able to just show up for your business and what you want to do. So I think one of the questions somebody asked initially was, how does a one-page flyer affect you getting large organizations? We'll be covering that later in this presentation. But I also want to introduce my co-host today, Stephanie Patterson. Stephanie, do you want to come on and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I've been a nurse for about 13 years. I hail from the critical care and cardiology realm. I left bedside healthcare altogether in 2018. I took a sabbatical for mental and physical health reasons. And around that time, I discovered lifestyle medicine and dove headfirst into it. I stumbled across nurse coaching as I was trying to find my way through lifestyle medicine. A lot of people are doing the opposite. They're trying to find their way into coaching. I found it as my path with lifestyle medicine because I said, I know this is what I want to do in the future. What am I going to do with it? I'm not a provider. I don't want to go back to school and become a nurse practitioner. I don't know what to do. So I did the nurse coaching certification. I'm also board certified by the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And around that time, I finished up a graduate certificate in integrative nutrition and lifestyle medicine. So now I work with people and organizations to utilize lifestyle modification, behavior modification to better their health and work productivity and happiness. Because my ultimate goal is for everyone to spend the last 20 years of their life doing what they want to do and not disabled. So when I first started working with Bina, I was completely clueless with what I wanted to do. I had a little bit of private coaching going, but I wanted to enter into the B2B realm. It has been such a wonderful experience this year, exploring that and growing that. I never would have known I would also be adding an extra revenue stream through freelance health writing. So that's another thing I do. I do health content writing, like website copy, blogs, content strategy, one-page flyers, pretty much anything health related to support businesses with their health content needs. So
Thank you, Stephanie. B2B means business to business. B2C is business to client. So if you guys are looking into nurse coaching, technically an LLC to another LLC, that is B2B. If you're hiring another nurse coach or somebody else outside as a client, that is business to client. Just a little thing for a lot of people, they're not used to business. If you're doing LLC to LLC, you're already halfway there by doing business to business. Any questions so far? Okay, and if you can't do me, you have to go on mute because I'm not on my big monitor. Why is a one-page flyer key? An impression to any one person when you're walking into an organization, say you're walking into Starbucks, you have less than 7 seconds to really understand if you're going to like a business or you're not. And what a one-page flyer does, it shows either a company or a person a quick synopsis of what your services are and what problem you are solving. When we talk about a one-page flyer, we wanted to grab their attention with between 7 and 10 seconds. And in those moments, I really want it to be where we don't want to answer everything. We don't need to answer all our questions on this flyer. It's just really an attention grabber. We really just want to mark their attention of, oh, what does this mean? Or wait, what do you mean by this? So it's just like if you want them to draw attention to what you are trying to solve. A one-page flyer needs to be concise, visually impactful, and easy to digest. So what I mean is we really wanted to make it easy on the eyes. We'll be going through how to actually make a one-page flyer in shortly. You want to make it where when you're looking at it, it doesn't look so busy and it has the key elements of your name, your picture, your mission, what you offer, and how to get a hold of you. Those are the 5 key elements to a flyer. And this is really a good way for if it comes on somebody's desk and you're going through it. Remember, guys, like it's like checking the mail. Back in the days, we were checking snail mail, and it comes up, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, what's this? And we stop to see what it was. And usually it was one of those Pizza Hut ones or Round Table back in the day, or What was another one? Coca-Cola back in the day. It was one of those big ones that you're like, oh my God, Domino's. So we want to have it where it's catchy, but really goes up where people, you just want them to stop for at least 3 seconds for them to look at it. That's our main goal for a one-page flyer. What are you guys doing to get more eyes on your business? Just go off mute and guys can talk. Deers are the headlights on.
I can talk a little bit.
Okay.
I have a one-page flyer that I made the mistake at first and didn't put my picture on it. And what I am doing is I have a pilot program in my hospital to help nurses or staff, I should say. And a couple people came up and said, "Oh, that's you." And I'm like, "Put my picture on it," because different people in different units may not know me by name. They really like it and ask questions about it because I had it sent out in the email to everyone. It raised questions. So I am also starting to round in the units. It's a small hospital, and talk to people and tell them what I'm doing, getting information, what they need. And a lot of times they don't know what they need because as nurses, we don't know how to receive. Thank you.
Correct. Yeah, putting your guys' picture on these one-page flyers. I just came back from a nurse coach conference last week or 2 weeks ago. Time has collapsed with me. And one of the things on one of our group chats was people saying how they wanted to be more visually seen and how they were a little bit nervous to be visually seen. A one-page flyer is a good way to be visually seen without putting yourself fully out there. Because unless your name, your brand, whatever it is, but we want to remind ourselves, whatever type of coaching you're doing, that your picture says a lot. If you're doing the coaching specifically and you're not outsourcing or you're not doing other different modalities, it's really key that we have a picture that's heart-centered, not looking away, because if you're looking away, that means you're not paying attention to them. You want a picture that's like really focus-centered. I try to stay away from these photos because it reminds me of a police officer. Who are you getting past to get pat through me? You really want to have photos, even if it's just like talking, like hands talking. I have the iconic photo of me like this with come up. You want to have it where it's facing forward with a smile and with people to come up because you want your photo to be inviting. Okay. I don't care what background you guys use, to be honest with you. You can go outside and have a tree. Or you can be like one of these photos right back here and use this beautiful hotel room, moose and whatever that is. So the background, or it can just be a white background and use AI in the back to choose it. But the photographer of you needs to be really clear because sometimes we can blur it out on your one-page flyers, or we can take out the background. We just need the picture of you. Okay. Do we have questions so far? How confident do you feel your marketing is right now that can grab someone's attention in 7 seconds or less? This is why it's really important, because when we're talking about any type of business or branding, our one-page flyer is really the start of our brand. It's really the start of what we're creating, whether we go to Starbucks or we go to Pete's. I always use Starbucks and Pete's because everybody knows the difference between the two, but they both serve coffee. So there's room for everyone. You can have two of the exact same businesses and have two different logos with two different forms of coffee, but people will gravitate towards Starbucks or Pete's. It's just all about what you like. Now I am going to hand it over. Stephanie here is really going to go through. You guys are all going to get the recording of this, so don't worry about jotting down all the notes and things. How many of you are familiar with Canva, first of all, before we start? Okay. All right. If you're unfamiliar and we're going too far, too fast, let us know and slow us down.
Yeah, please speak
Okay.
up. Stop me, ask questions anytime.
All right. So ask us questions and then we'll slow it down as we go. As we're building the one-page flyer, where this is the majority of the chunk of this, the whole presentation, is ask the questions. If we don't know, I'm not in your head, raise your hand, interrupt us and say, hey, can we clarify that? The goal is by the end of this presentation for you guys to have a base to create a one-page flyer for yourself.
All right. I am going to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my flyer? I need to move you guys. Okay, you guys can see. All right. So this is my current flyer. I've done multiple iterations of this. Like Bina said, the must-haves, in fact, I'll show you. My first flyer did not have my picture. And then everyone told me add a picture. I did have some headshots taken around that time. So I added it small and then everyone said, no, make it bigger. And I'm so glad I did. It does add a personal touch to it. My first version also didn't have a website. I had my email. I did have my business form, so I at least did have a good business email. I didn't have my business name on here. There was a lot that was missing. So you will have multiple iterations of this. I didn't have a brand. I didn't have brand colors. However, you'll notice in my other one, I loved the colors of this, and I have my reasons for keeping those that did actually fuel and inspire what ended up being my brand colors. So having a nice photo, as Bina said, is very important. There's a lot of fancy things out there where you can like do the snapshot AI stuff where it can make a regular picture look professional, or you can just use a regular picture. I had a picture of me on a hike on my first one before I had this, and you can do a lot of things now in Canva with removing the background. So don't stress too much about your picture, just put it out there. People appreciate it. And like she said, definitely important to have the eyes looking at someone because it brings them in. Before I go into designing an actual, we're going to go through start to finish and design a one-page flyer, I wanted to go over a few key elements of copywriting. You don't need to have a marketing background to do any of this and to have a snazzy looking flyer if you keep what's going to be 2 takeaways in mind. So the must-haves being a covered photo, your contact information. It's good to have a little blurb about who you are and of course what you do. What's not needed, you don't need a website. You don't need a logo. You don't need brand colors. Don't stress about any of that. When it comes to your one-page flyer, keep in the back of your mind, people don't want to read. They want to skim. Typically, I would tell someone this is a bit wordy.
Yeah.
If you can say something in fewer words, do it. And on the flip side of that, by doing so, you want to maximize your white space. And what I typically do is after I've written everything in my flyers, it doesn't matter what I'm looking at, I actually zoom out to where I can't read anything. And I say, does it look like something, like if I were going to see it on a table somewhere, does it look inviting? Does it look like shoddy craftsmanship, or does it look like something that was done professionally? What's going to make it look professional is lots and lots of white space. So on mine, there is lots of words here, yes, but where my photo is, it's nice and big. That's considered white space because there's no text there. And I have my logo and the QR code. So there is a fair amount of white space, and also all around and in between. You want to maximize all of that. So anywhere where there's not text, that is called white space. I'm going to also point out on here, because mine is a bit wordier, I stuck with one font. Canva has a lot of great templates, which is wonderful. You don't even have to change the fonts, but if you choose to, never use more than 2 fonts. If you use 2, use one for your headers, and then have the body use the same one for everything else. People want to skim, not read. Bina said, you have just a few seconds to capture their attention. When someone looks at mine, they're going to see my picture. They might see my name. Ideally, they're going to see the title first, and immediately it tells them what I'm about. And then right from here, they're going to decide if they're going to keep looking or they're going to go away. If they keep looking, then they're going to read on. Here's another header. This pertains to me. I'm going to keep reading. So everything that you create, whether it's a Facebook post, an article, a blog post, any kind of marketing material, keep in mind that you are fighting for a few seconds of people's attention serially. You want to hook them, grab their attention, and then you're working to keep them. Having good copy and good content on here in a well-designed way is what's going to do that. The flyer that I am going to walk you through will have less text. I'm also going to point out that because mine is a bit wordy, the ways to combat that are breaking things up like this rather than having this all together. So they can read this, they can read this. I have 2 different colors here in the same font. Breaking things up with bold print and maybe having these extra colors here allows people to skim. It's really simple, but not everyone thinks of these tactics. Does anyone have any questions on basic copywriting? I want you to remember that people want to skim and to maximize your white space. That's the 2 takeaways from all of this. So if anyone has any questions, I can't see you, just go ahead and speak up.
Yeah. I had a question. How do you create the QR code?
We will cover that. Okay. If no one else has any other questions, I'll jump in and we will cover the QR code in that how-to. All right, let's go back. This is just to give you a quick snapshot. This is what we're going to create today together. Okay, this will be the end product. And since most of you said you have some familiar with Canva, I'm going to click through some things, but if you aren't sure how I'm getting somewhere or you want me to slow down, please speak up. You can access templates from here or here.
Have you
I
guys
just type it
noticed
in.
that Canva has changed up their stuff? I always tell people Canva's like that best friend that you walk into their house and their furniture changes every single time you walk into their house. That reminds me of Canva.
If you go directly into the templates and you click flyers, the problem with this is that you're going to run into a lot of stuff like this, where it's none of this is what these aren't the types of flyers we're trying to create. So I almost never take this route. I usually know what I'm trying to do, and I usually lead almost everything with business because that's what I'm trying to do. So when you go to business flyers, there's certain things that I'm looking for. We know we want a photo, and we can add a photo. So if it's missing, it's not a big deal. We want enough space where we can write a few things. So if you remember mine, we have our services, we have what we do, we have a little bit of a bio. So something like this is probably not as ideal. This is the one we're going to use. I liked this one, and there's a few others that were like this. Anything that has the who we are, why choose us, our services, they all have the contact info on the bottom. These are perfect ones to use, and you don't have to worry about colors. You can change the colors if you want. This was another one I looked at earlier that was going to be a really good
The other
option.
one that I see right here, just to interrupt you, Steph, is elevate your business with us.
Yep.
That's also one that we want. So I want to show you, we were showing you guys options. So we're showing you one that comes in, but we just want you to know that you're able to go through any of these templates. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No,
You change the word, put your stuff on there, and then you're done.
yes.
So
And
make
to that point, it is helpful as you get more practice. You will learn to do this anyway. I already have the copy written. I did that to expedite this, but I do that in my general practice anyway. So that way, when I go to these flyers, I have a general idea of what I want on there already. And I'm going to pick a flyer that I don't have to edit. Okay, here's our flyer that we're going to start with. I did a kind of a fictitious nurse who has a new coaching business. A couple quick things about Canva first. I will blow through these because most of you said that you are somewhat familiar with Canva. When you click on something and the purple box goes around it, that means you've selected that item. Keyboard commands are your best friend. If there's something here like this little guy we're going to get rid of, you can click this little trash can or just hit backspace. If you accidentally do something like, oops, I moved that and I didn't mean to, Control Z, you can do that. You can also come up here and it even gives you the command key. That's nice. Control Z, undo, redo. Okay, let's jump into this. I'm going to start designing. We have our contact information. Great. I'm not going to enter anything in there. That's self-explanatory. We need a picture front and center. So I'm going to start by making space because I want the picture up top. To add a picture, go over to Elements. And then you can type photo. And what you want are these photo frames. And if you click see all, it gives you lots of options. And of course, we want this to be businessy and professional, so we're not going to go for these cutesy ones. I personally like to stick to basic shapes: rectangle, square, oval. I think I did a square in the other one. We'll do that. Okay. Clicking the corner, you can drag and shrink it. We also need a name under it, so I'm going to make it a little extra small. I like symmetry as best as I can. If I were going to have just a photo here, I would stretch this out and try to make it fit. But I know we need a name underneath this picture, so I'm going to shrink it a little bit. And then upload. There we go. Let me do that. A great picture. No.
That's fine. Just leave it for now. It's funny.
No, I told this picture was good. Most of my headshots all have like neutral tones and warm backgrounds, but this one is good because it has also the cool background. All right, so we have a picture. And then, like I said, I'm just going to be copying and pasting from a Word document that I have on my other screen. So copy, Control C. When you select here, sometimes it highlights all of it. Sometimes it just puts the cursor in there. If you do Control A, it will highlight all the wording. And I'm just going to do Control V to paste. All right, now that doesn't quite fit. So we're going to shrink it down. You just click like this. Okay. The other thing I don't like on here is a nifty little part of the template. This is a computery background. I honestly didn't like it. I was going to change the picture earlier. And then I thought, what does it look like without the picture at all? So I deleted the picture frame, scooched it back up, and I'm like, oh, looky at that. I don't even need to waste my time finding a new picture. And that looks just fine.
Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Sure.
Where do you find in Canva the shortcuts that you were just saying, copy A, copy C? How do you know those shortcuts?
Those are just
Um,
the natural shortcuts from keyboard. So
Oh.
if you Google them, they're just like, they're the universal shortcuts. that
Got it.
you can use them in Google Word and things like
Yeah.
that. If you look up keyboard commands,
keyboard-
list the keyboard commands and
Yeah.
you'll get all those.
And,
Yeah.
and honestly, Kelly, there's so many. Those are just the ones we use all the time, but there's like ones that are like
Yeah.
screenshots and other things. So
Yeah.
those are just ones to help you with those, but great
Mhm.
question though. It can help all of us.
Mm-hmm. We have our nurse, our fictitious nurse, her business is life stage coaching. So we're gonna go up here and put that in. And I want that to be there-ish, good enough. If you want to move something or copy something together, you can group things. So there is this little thing underneath this life stage coaching. When I click here, it's highlighting that. I'm gonna hold the shift key on the keyboard and click this as well. Then it pops up group. Now, if I wanted to move these around, it moves them together. I'm also going to click duplicate because I want the same exact thing over here. And I don't want to find the shape and add a new text box. I wanted the same thing right here. And so now we're going to do, this is Christine Miller,
Your alias name.
RN. I'm going to click on my picture, right click. And when you go over here to layer, I'm going to bring it all the way to the front because that's going to put it on top of what I just added there. I think that looks fine, at least for now.
Do you guys understand the layers? Or do you want us to explain that a little bit? I can't see hands.
Explain it, please.
So what a layer is, think of it as like a disc lens. You have a layer here, a front layer, and then you have something on top. So each layer, it can have like a slice, like a dissection. So each individual is a layer. So the back layer is all white.
Yep, that's the whole white document here is the back.
Okay. And now on top of that is the
Blue, that's layered next,
and then she put a black layer on top.
which is a little bit transparent. Yep, so you can see
Then
through
she put her picture on top. So when we talk about layers, there could be multiple layers. Think of it as like a painting, and you put your first layer on, and then your second layer, and then your third layer, and then your fourth layer to create the imagery of what you're trying to create on Canva. So they're taking the same concept, but they're putting it in a digital form. Is that helpful?
Did you have to create the layer or it came with this?
It comes with it.
Yeah, the
Okay,
template layers everything. For instance, here, again, like Bina said, there's this, looking at this little icon right here.
Mhm.
On the white, we have this right here. Look,
Mhm.
that is sitting on top of this,
Mhm.
which is sitting on top of the white. And you can move them independently. Or if you're going to use this icon, let's say I wanted to move them. You saw when I clicked and dragged, it moved just the top piece. When we group things together, it locks those layers in place and turns them into one unit so they can be moved together. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Let's say you've got something, you like everything where it's at and you don't want to move it. When you work fast, you might accidentally click and move stuff and it's annoying when you have to reposition it. You can come down here. So I've selected my picture, right click, and you can come down to lock and click that and it locks it in place. So now I moved everything else. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. It won't move my picture. Now, if I do end up wanting to picture it, you can just right click again and unlock, and you can always move it again. Okay, so it just prevents mistakes from happening.
And only layers are pre-made on the templates. So if you are creating it from scratch, you will have a blank screen, just like a blank canvas, and you would have to create that. So use templates, ladies.
You always start with a template.
Use templates.
Okay, so I'm gonna just copy and paste a few things here. So we have our title, and then we have our headers. Christine Miller, she helps people navigate through life changes. Her coaching practice, her ideal client is men and women between the ages of 30 and 70. Everything is centered around that general niche. I copied and pasted. This is too small though. It doesn't need to be this small. So I'm gonna just, again, make it bigger and make it more fun to read or easier to read. Life stage coaching, Christine Miller, navigating life's transitions with confidence, support and guidance for every stage of life. It doesn't even matter what is down here. If going through a life transition doesn't resonate with you, I'm not going to bother reading the rest of this. This is your hook up here. That part's really important. Okay, let's see. We have a brief little bio here about who we are. So I'm just gonna copy and paste that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And I also want to close this. Okay. So again, we're thinking a little bit of copywriting here. I'm looking at the left and the right, and at least in general, I want it to be somewhat evenly spaced. And I like to left justify everything. I'm a big fan of left justifying.
In general, left justification means everything goes towards the left. It is easier on the eye to read. If you open up a regular book, it goes from left to, it is shifted left on majority of the books.
Yep. And it's really nice. Canva does, if you look at these pink lines, the one in the middle on this why choose us, the one going through the O is basically saying it's centered for something. All the way on the left, you can see it lines up with the who we are and the body underneath that. And that's what I'm trying to line up with right now. So that makes it more visually appealing. Now I am going to just delete these because we don't want the icons. But again, if we zoom out, it looks okay. But when I did this before, I thought, we have a lot of wording here. It's nice to break things up either with colors or graphics. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't have bullet points for this, just a small body of text. So I'm going to delete these. And I'm going to keep one. I'm moving them over. The placement doesn't matter right now. Let me copy and paste my body here. And I'm going to zoom back in so you guys can see better. Okay, so here's the body text for this section. I want a little catchy why choose us. Change is hard. I'm gonna do period. We're going to emphasize that a little bit. We are going to make our text white, which don't panic, it's still there. And I'm going to take this box from earlier and drag it. This creates a little pop of color. And I'm going to move this text. The nice thing about these text boxes is it changes all the text as you drag it. One thing to keep in mind is my text up here is 9.4, which is small, and my text here is 10.4. I try to keep things relatively close in size because that's also just an easy on the eye skimming copywriting thing. We're going to move this down. Change is hard. We can make that bigger. And then the why choose us, we'll scooch that down. Now, this is relatively centered inside my box. I want this box to line up with this Y to line up with this. And the same thing over here. I want everything to line up so that when we zoom out, see how that changes things a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions so far? I only created 3 services for Christine. Christine has 3. We're going to do career shifts, coaching, okay, coaching. I'm going to select this box and this box and this. I'm holding down shift while I click all of these. And when I let go of shift, the little group thing pops up and it should, yep, sure enough, locks all of that in place so I can move them together. I'm going to bring my services down. I see how you have the outline here and it lines up with who we are. That's another thing that's easy on the eyes. So a lot of this is all about just lining things up so it looks nicely, and Canva does a great job of offering those guides. For her services here, I'm going to copy and paste from my Word document, put it in there, and it has it bulleted. I'm going to undo that. We don't need it. Move it up a little bit. Okay, good enough. All right, I'm going to click this guy. I'm just going to drag it down to where I want it. I'm going to enter in her next one, which is retirement readiness. She's got a retirement readiness program. Duplicate, click that. You can just grab it and bring it down. The nice thing about this is it saves you clicks. It lets you play with the spacing. The reason why I deleted everything before is it lets you play with the spacing a little bit more without having other stuff in your way. But doing this way, I'm not having to go over here to text and add a text box and pick the font. Everything, all the style and everything is copied over when you do duplicate. So it does save you time. So I'm going to put in her retirement, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Duplicate. And while I'm doing this last one, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Health transitions support.
Has this been helpful?
Let's start.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm on my laptop. If you can
Oh.
just mute and speak.
Make it a little smaller.
It's very helpful.
Okay. Stephanie.
Can you show me how to group again?
Yes, in fact, I'm ungrouping right now. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to
I can't
change.
see it on the commands.
If we
Yeah,
can make it, we can make it bigger stuff.
here we go.
Want to just make sure everything is highlighted in what you're trying to group.
So
So
let's say we're going to group all three of these things together. I am left clicking with my mouse on this. Okay, and see, it brings up this cursor. So if I wanted to move this around, I could, but it's only going to move that one thing. What if I wanted to move this whole section to right here? I left click. Now I'm pressing down shift and I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard. And then I'm going to click the next thing. And I'm even going to click this box behind it. So once you've clicked everything while holding shift and you see everything has the purple around it, another way you can do this is by dragging like this, and then it does select everything. Now I'm holding shift and I'm going to unselect that. Okay. When you let go of shift, that's where this little group thing pops up. And it makes it all one unit to move around.
Yeah.
So there's two ways to group. You can drag. In this case, dragging is not going to work for that one. If it's on the background, you can drag and pull and it'll include everything that you have there. And then you can click group and that'll group it. Okay. Or like over here, I was trying to get this background here. You just click the individual things. Oh, it's already grouped. That's why. Thank you, Bina. So yeah, you click the individual things and then you group them like that. It pops up. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, for this last one, I'm going to duplicate this text.
anyone else have questions? Stephanie, you have read.
Whoa, what is going on here?
You have it on the draw.
I do. Where did I click the draw? I did not do that. Pointer. Okay, why is it not going away though?
This is a good example.
Oh, geez. I'm going to join Rich Livin's community. Sorry about that.
This is what happens when errors happen.
Is that Zoom doing that or is that Canva doing it?
Zoom doing it. So click the annotate.
Clicked annotate. Now I've got the menu. I've got the eraser, but I just want to okay, here we go. That was fun. Sorry about that, guys.
Well, now we know it's.
Okay, are we done with that?
Yeah.
Silliness now? Okay. Let's try this again. Was someone asking a question while I was adding in this last little bit, and then we'll do the QR code next. So now I have everything in here. If we had more time and if I was playing with this, you want to go through ideally each of these things you'd play with and make sure they're all lined up and evenly spaced. Once you have all these little pieces in place, line them up and play with it. I have all my content. Now you make it look pretty. We're not going to get down to those little nitty-gritty details for the sake of time.
May I ask a quick question before you go to the QR?
Absolutely.
On my flyer, I had a typo. Is there a way to spell check the whole page?
On Canva alone, no. So
Okay.
on the actual general template alone, me and Stephanie's been playing with this for several months now, and we haven't found a way to do that. I highly encourage every single one of you to put it into a Google Doc or a Word document, any type of thing, so that the spell proof, formatting, all those stuff, the structure of it is all done there. You're able to spell check it on that. The minute it comes onto the Canva itself, it's not. And there was a new version that came out that did it for 0.5 seconds and they took it away because it was finding little SEO things that are underlining. It was picking those up and causing a lot of glitches.
Yeah. The other benefit to having all of your copy pre-written in a Google Doc or a Word doc is that you also have it already saved. If you're like me, I'm a visual person, so I do a lot of my brainstorming real time while I'm creating these. So I have my content written, I'll copy and paste it over, and then I'm playing, and it's also giving me ideas while I do it, but I have all of my versions saved. So when I want to do it again, we have version 1, version 2. Any other questions before we do the QR code? Okay, so we're going to move the contact us over because we're just going to slap a QR code right here. You click that. This is super easy. Let's say you do your URL. I have mine to my Calendly account for scheduling. You can have it linked to your website. In this case, I'll do my email, hello@lifestylemedicinern.com. You can go ahead and click customize. In this case, we don't really have any black anywhere. You could certainly do a black and white QR code, but if you click on this, it brings up document colors. You can look and hover over these and see if there's any you would prefer to use on your QR code. Let's see what this one, 18234B, looks like.
You can also copy and paste it.
Yeah, 18234B. And it pulls it up. We're going to see what that looks like. Generate code, and voila, it's right there. So all we got to do is resize it and move it. And you can make it as big or as small as you want. I'm going to get
That's
super
the
tiny.
biggest thing that one Canva did its update is you're able to integrate QR codes straight from Canva now.
Yeah. So you can choose wherever you want to put that. And it really is as simple as that. So now even here in this template, if you hold up your phone and do the picture thing, it'll pop up. Do you want to do the email? Okay, that's it. Voila. If I were going to keep playing, I'd adjust things a little bit, but this is the gist of it. I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Bina and stop sharing. Thank you for listening, guys.
How was this? Can you guys imagine, all of you can now, I know it's going to take time, but how many of you guys now feel more confident in doing a one-page flyer in 30 minutes and less? This one was 30 minutes, but you also have to remember we go down the rabbit hole of Canva, okay? We've been playing with it for a while. Have you guys realized that if you put it on a Google document, you have to be clear. This is where you have to be super clear with what your business is going to be about. Who is your target audience? What are your services? What are you going to coach on? What do you want to deliver? Your one-page flyer is exactly what you're delivering. So it's going to really solve, or it's really want to solve this problem, agitate, and resolve solution. And I'm going to show, let me put my slide back up. Okay. So you really want, and her problem was, Miss Christine Miller, what was your problem to highlight the target audience for this one-page flyer?
Yes.
Or actually, can I ask you guys this? What was the big problem that Christine Miller was solving?
We didn't really talk about the actual content.
Transitions, shifting.
Yeah,
change.
exactly, right? Did you see on the agitate part? The agitate part really is about the emotions that's stirring up for that. So what was some of the things when you looked on that flyer that really triggered you? Or really was just like, ooh, maybe that's me. We'd have to pull the flyer back.
I think change is hard.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah.
people resist change.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll point out, because I have the copy right here, like for instance, an example, the very first one, it starts with a question. It says, feeling unfulfilled or certain about your next career move?
Mm.
Questions,
Question.
powerful questions. When you're looking at it, what was she solving? Those are your solutions. Those are what you are delivering. She had something with retirement. She had something with coaching. What was the third one? Health transition. Your solution or what you're solving needs to be clear. It needs to be concise. So when we talk about retirement in her blurb, it's going to say, how are you going to solve it with retirement? Maybe it's a lunch and learn. Maybe it's a workshop. Maybe this is a visualization workshop. What's the one-on-one coaching? Maybe that's a group coaching solution. Maybe that's a one-on-one container. It's super clear with what you're going to do to solve those problems, right? And so the main thing with that is that you have to be clear about what you want to offer. How many of you right now can be honest and say in your business, in your coaching career, hey, this is my problem. These are the trigger points I'm going to put out to people, and this is how I'm going to solve your problem. Good. Yeah. Awesome. And for the ones that are like shaking their head and looking at me, I don't understand this, or what does this mean? This is where it's really crucial on knowing what target audience you want to coach. What is the thing you want to do? So when people go, I don't have a niche, you don't need a niche. You need a population. Is it primarily females? Is it primarily males? Is it primarily women from 30 to 50? I'm going to pick on Kelly right now because I know she's doing with perimenopause and menopause. I'm going to pick on Catherine. I know she's doing with retirement, right? So when you know what you're doing and know the population that you're working on, we know Kelly is going to be primarily female, right? Some males, if they're wanting to understand about their relationships and comes in, but it's going to be from 30 to 60 years old. And some of the agitate part of that is going to be more of, do you know what's going on? Do you have brain fog? Are you walking around and going, why am I so hot? And it's 60 degrees in here. Those are trigger points for people to be like, yeah, why am I hot walking in here? It's, oh, maybe I am in perimenopause. Or what Catherine was talking about with the retirement, it's just like retirement doesn't start at 60 or 70. Retirement can start healthily at 30, 40 years old. What is your desired life? What do you want to do when you're grown up? And so those are different things when I say, what is it that you guys want to create? The number one thing that comes from that is clarity. You need to be super clear. I'm a big believer in having something written down and really have in writing. That is what we consider a business plan. Not like a plan of, oh my God, we're going to do this. And in 60 days, I'm going to have this. And in 90 days, I'm going to have this. That's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about when we're talking about the business plan is really who's your audience? Who's your population? Where is your audience? If we're going for perimenopause, we're not going to high school, right? We really want to make sure when we're targeting these one-page flyers that we're making it in areas. Maybe we go to gyms. Maybe we're going to Orange Theory, where there's moms and other elderly people. Maybe we're going to Home Goods. You want to also think outside the box. Where are these 30 to 40-year-old women? Sometimes it's just places that we come up, and those are the creativity things that we want to do. So any questions so far on this? We're almost there. Does anyone have any questions on this so far? Yeah, Richard?
Once you've created the flyer,
Mhm.
how do you post it?
Good question. When you come up on actual Canva, you can download it as a PDF or as a PNG, P-I-N-G. A P-I-N-G
No,
file,
PNG.
P-N-G. Okay,
You
there's
can
the-
also do the SVG and PEG. You have the option for all of them.
and those are the ones you're able to put up on like social media, LinkedIn.
Oh,
So I could create it like a JPEG?
Yep. Created, download as a JPEG, and then you're able to upload that onto any type of social media platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does it house itself? Do I have to go back to Canva?
No, it houses itself on your actual computer. So
Okay.
whether it's on the desktop or a Google Drive or a document.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
then when you upload it, whether it's on social media, you can upload it as a file. Double check, I'm telling you guys the right information on that. And so when you upload it, it comes up so it doesn't look distorted. Because I don't think any social platforms you're able to upload a PDF. It has to be a picture version.
So JPEG works really well.
Yes, JPEG works the best actually.
Okay.
And it doesn't mess up the resolution. So whatever you download it on, if you want to put it under a resolution before you download, on resolution, it will say best for printing, best for something. So you want to choose what resolution you want. You always want to choose the best for printing and high resolution so it doesn't look pixelated. Some people ask those questions and some people are just like, this is enough information. It just depends on where people are. If you guys have any questions, because I know this is a big overload for some people or it comes up. If you guys have any more questions, reach out to us. Reach out to me. In my Nurse Coach Business School, this is what I teach you guys. Stephanie is actually a former client of mine. We just bonded over Canva. It was our third best friend that we would get into a lot of arguments with because she kept moving things around. And it was just one of those things where we want to remind you guys, this is fun. You don't want to do anything that's not fun. And things that look daunting and things that are like, oh my God, this I can never do. Yes, you can. And that's why I was very adamant about all of you guys learning or seeing how quick it can be done in 30 minutes. Yeah. If any of you are interested, I do have a program that comes up. It is the Nurse Coach Business School. It is a 90-day program where we are talking about everything we talked about today, but in way more in detail. We talk about your population. We talk about what you're doing. So you're able to create this one-page flyer at ease and along with many other things. If any of you are interested, just message us below and we'll give you the link for that. Any other questions that you have for us? Any concerns? Anything that you want us to review again? Is there anything else that we can support you? Because the big goal for me is for you guys to feel supported.
You both
Well,
did an excellent job. Thank you very much. It was very rewarding.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you so much for doing this. It's always in the back of our minds, but when I did this,
Mhm.
I go, wow, I really need a lot of clarity. I need to have a lot of conversation with myself. And so it puts you in that mindset to come on, we're going to do this. And then
Yeah.
now you guys going to hold our hands and do it. We're really going to do this. It's
So,
kind of scary, but
right, and there are people that can come out, like Stephanie is one of them, that she now does this as part of her business, where she goes and helps other nurse coaches, because time is an issue. This is one of the big things I want you to hear. I didn't have any of this on my first large contract. I didn't have this on my second large contract. I created it, but I was just like, what? What's a one-page flyer? The minute I realized the importance of it, before you guys go, don't print now in 8x11. If you guys are going to print flyers, print them in postcard size, so the 4x6. I
No,
don't have
5x7. 4x6
5x7,
is like super
thank
small. 5x7.
5x7.
Yeah.
really,
Two reasons. The 8x11s no one uses anymore. It gets in the garbage and it gets thrown away. Okay. The 5x7s, they end up putting it in their purse, or men will put them in their pockets. Or if you're walking around with a journal, put it into a journal. So if you're doing a vendorship, like I'm doing a major vendorship this weekend with a 300 HR directors on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I was like, when I got my flyers, I was like, shit, they're 8x11. What am I going to do? I looked at it and it was 5x7, but it was a blessing because I was able to just put it into one of the file folders. And I was like, this makes way more sense than walking around folding something and then I'm just going to throw it away.
yeah.
But that's after 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I just want to remind, that was after 3 years. I was like, oh my God. The best thing about these flyers is that when you are doing these larger things and are going to booths and comes up, you're able to take your one-page flyers, make them small and concise, but also make them large, retractable, different things where you're able to see and read in a different light. And I'll be showing you guys behind the scenes more of what I'm doing this next week. But just know that this all takes time. But what I want to do is collapse time. It took me 3 years to learn certain things, which I really wish I learned 2.5 years ago. This is one of them. This one-page flyer is one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Would that also include posting on the bulletin board at work like mine?
Yes.
Also the same size? Smaller?
No, not on the bulletin board. So if you're doing
But
bulletin board,
handouts.
yeah,
Like-
it's for handouts, only handouts. Susan is one of my old apprentices. She got a pilot program at one of her local hospitals, and she is now integrating it throughout her entire organizations just for contents for everybody. No, for that one, keep it the 8x11. Because, or even go bigger and do the 10x12s. It's easier to see. What about visibility? If you're doing like at a local market, a farmer's market, if you're at like an event, people don't use business cards anymore. Hand out those 5x7 one-page flyers. Your QR code can go straight to an email, or for the you that are nurse coaches, your QR code can go straight to your Practice Better, or to your CRM, or to your Calendarly, or now Google has Calendar linked into Google. It can go straight there. So you have many options.
I do a lot of mailing, not emailing, snail mail.
Yeah.
My clientele is very autonomous and ethics surrounded. I work with addiction. Working in treatment centers, it's really hard to find the way in that door. Found that this size flyer,
Brochure style is the best.
yeah, because then they can just open it up
Yes.
once they get it.
So it just depends on your market. And this is exactly, thank you, Richard, for pointing this out. So it really does depend on where your target audience is. Each target audience is going to be a little different. So if you're working with teenagers and trying to do wellness for teenagers and going into schools and developing grants, we're going to use bolder colors, brighter colors, a little bigger fonts, right? If we're working with younger children, and I have clients that are working with 5, 6-year-olds, right? And bringing wellness into schools, then we're really doing the big collaborations with boards and really flashy colors. But that's where the business school really comes in, and we really tailor it to what your audience is going to do and where it needs to be. But the main thing before doing any type of one-page flyer, which a lot of people on here can contest, is that you have to have that clarity. You need to know what to put on your one-page flyer first. And that comes from clarity. Really going down, what comes up. I see Tracy on here, and I know she's working with with cancer survivors. How can we get more involved? Any other questions you guys have?
Stephanie, do you have art background? You make it so easy.
No, I used to scrapbook way back in the day.
This is
Like old school, like cutting out and going to Michael's and buying. I've just always loved this type of stuff. And I love to write. I've always been a pretty prolific writer as well. So I put the two together and something beautiful is coming from it.
Wonderful.
And Joel, this is why I use people from the program that comes in to let people know that it's not only me. Because if I were to do this, some people would be like, of course you know how to do this. Of
Mhm.
course you do. You do this all the time. Actually, no, I don't. I have Lou on here. He's my VA.
Hey, Lou.
So you guys know that. Yes, I did it 3 years ago, but now one of the main things I hand off is Canva. I can do it, but I also want you guys to really show that it can be done and it doesn't take up a lot of time and effort. Don't make it daunting. Don't make it a bigger task than what it is.
It's a great nudge to get up to the next level.
The nice thing about
I will have
Canva
this done
too,
tomorrow.
you can resize and copy things and repurpose. So you do one post. If you decide to be on multiple things, you can take a snippet from a blog or a newsletter, turn it into a Facebook post, and then just resize it and put it to LinkedIn. You can repurpose this stuff without having to recreate the wheel. It's so nice.
And I also have a question, Stephanie, about your photos. Are they professionals or just, they look so good?
Thank you. Yes, I did pay to have headshots done. I need to do a branding shoot so I get something that's more than just a headshot. Thank you.
Oh, very
Joel,
nice.
if you put makeup on and you come up like y'all, I put this on my face 3 minutes before I came on Zoom, would then go outside, take it with a beautiful iPhone or
Yeah.
like a Samsung, put it on portrait mode, tell somebody to take a picture of you, just head up. It does not, like I'm telling you, don't make it more difficult than what it is.
Mm-mm.
My first photo, I don't have it on this particular computer. I don't know if Lou's able to bring up my very first flyer from Dome. It's in my drive. If he is able to find it real quick. Y'all, it was just like, it was literally me and something in the middle. And that's just because they're like, do you have a 1-page flyer? And I'm like, sure. Yes, I'll get it to you by Friday. And this was like Monday or Tuesday. And I'm like, what do I do with that? You know, I didn't have anything. If you guys have an app, it's called Snapper. I don't know if they're nationwide or not. I do know they're really well known on the West Coast. SNAPR. Okay, they can come in and they're local photographers. They're just freelancer photographers that come to your house or come to an area. It's $100. It's super cheesy and they give it to you within the next day.
If you have a neighborhood Facebook group, you can put out there, at least in my town, I've seen people starting up a new photography business looking for people to take pictures. So if you want to say, hey, if there's any aspiring college kid or anyone who's interested in photography, I need to do business on the cheap. Is anyone willing to do a headshot? You don't have to make this expensive.
Utilize neighbor, your local, utilize like in your family. You'd be surprised with how many people in families are like, I love taking photos. It's great. Can you take mine?
And I just want to say I was intimidated by Canva, but once I started doing it, it was super fun. I had to like stay focused. It was really fun.
You ladies
If you can't
both
find
did
it.
amazing.
Thank you
You're gonna
so
be pumped
much.
up, but I just wanted to make sure. Any other questions you guys have? And Joel, I would love to talk to you more. Love to
Yeah.
know more about what you do. Lisa, I haven't seen you in a while. I just saw you pop up on my screen.
Said try some dollars, okay?
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna head out. Thumbs up. Nice seeing you guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, how useful was this today?
10.
Well,
10.
Everyone,
very
Right.
useful. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
in the Nurse Coach Business School, I am putting out free webinars at least once a month. They will always be on a Wednesday around this time. Hopefully I'm not traveling like I am today. If I do, I make it work. We're looking for tips and things just like this that you're able to move your business forward, because the goal again is to keep everybody motivated, to keep
Mhm.
moving. And just remember, it's one action at a time.
Yeah.
Did
Now
you
we need
have-
to do one on AI, Bina. We need to do a chat GPT one.
Oh yeah, that's another rabbit hole.
I just wanted to confirm everything you just taught.
Yeah.
I put
Can
the
we
link
see
in
it?
the chat.
Oh, she can't. She put it in
It's
the
a
chat.
little, it still needs work, but yeah, I put the link in the chat.
Does anyone come up? Let me see.
Yeah, I got it. I
Yeah.
can share it.
You,
Here,
are you able to share it, Steph?
Yes, I am.
You're probably faster than I
Can
am.
you see it?
This is beautiful.
Oh,
Wonderful. Okay. This
That
is
goofy Where's me?
The only suggestion is see how that stock photo of the two women walking?
Hmm.
But want to see your photo and that picture of you that's raising your hand. Woohoo! I would like to see it forward facing. If you can, I can't look through everything right now. If you can put a forward facing picture of you, Melinda, this is beautiful for the
Perfect.
kids.
You even got a QR code. Good job.
This is amazing. So if you can
So
just put your forward facing picture, that's it.
It just goes to prove that it's not hard. It's not impossible.
I'm so excited. Like I wasn't sure if someone was gonna follow.
I love it.
It made me super excited. I'm like, thank you. Oh, that's so exciting. But that it shows how easy it is. But yeah, one thing, get a photo of you forward facing with your
Yep.
beautiful smile. And that
Okay.
photo and that thing is done. Your first rendition of it is done. Remember, guys, your one-page flyer is a fluid flowing technique. It's not a one and done. You guys, like, I don't know if we probably won't have time to show you right now, but if you saw my first one-page flyer to where it is today, you guys are gonna all laugh at me. How many of you thought that I named my business, my B2B business by now? Honest to God. No, I'm serious. Like, how many of you really thought I had this together? I'm sure a lot of people did. Yeah. Guess what? I just fucking named my shit through on what? Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
It was literally just Coach Bina added benefit. That was it. That's all it was. Okay. I sold through 4 companies by that.
Major company.
Now it's called the Silent Solution. No, Silent Struggle Solutions.
Ooh.
Silent Struggle Solution.
I like that.
That's what I do. I help with the silent struggles into the employees into the in revamping EAP. But it took me 3 years to create
Wow.
that. So it's always in transition. It is not always perfect.
Can we also highlight, Bina, fake it till you make it with the one-page flyer? They're like, yeah, what's the name of your business? And you're like, there's Coach Bina.
What's
And
Bina?
you're like, but what's the name of your business?
What's your name of the business? Coach Bina. Oh, what do you do? I'm just an added benefit. And it just rolled with it.
Ah,
So you guys, all I'm saying is that it's illegal to sell yourself, but it is very good to sell your program. If you want to brand, I highly suggest coaching to, if you're comfortable and if you want to put you should be your brand because it's you that's coaching. It's you on the other side of the table. It's you doing the transformation work that you guys are doing. And remember, it doesn't matter how big or small a company is. It doesn't matter. If you coach one person and if you've made a difference in that one person, you are already successful. Because it's one person at a time. Yeah.
Stephanie, I met Bina at the Nurse Coach Conference.
Mhm.
And it was awesome.
That would have been nice to go. I could not go this year.
Her and Jackie was on the call. The two of you, when you guys were watching, we were seeing with the little baby. We were having a beautiful conversation about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to go. Any other questions or concerns, please email us, message me. I know Melinda, you've already spoken about the school. If you guys are interested, reach out to us. We're here. This is not a pressure call. It's when you're ready, we're here.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
You.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hang on.
I